Hi there, Alexey Antonov here, founder of the international logistics company Time Saving Machine. Let's talk about one of the most common questions. Why one package arrives in 3 days while another takes 7, even when the weight and route look identical. Delivery time depends on many more factors than just a plane and a courier. It's a whole chain of processes, and each one has its own details that people rarely talk about. Let's start with the most unpredictable factor, the weather. Even the most accurate route can shift if visibility suddenly drops at the departure airport, strong crosswinds pick up, or the runway gets covered in ice. And it's not only the weather at the departure point that matters. If the route goes through a major hub, for example, Istanbul, Dubai, or somewhere in Europe, and a storm hits there, the delay will happen no matter how perfect the weather is in Moscow or Astana. Sometimes airlines move a flight because of conditions in a location that isn't even listed in the sender's route, but is part of the airline's transit network. Clients don't see these details. Logistics teams track them in real time. Next comes transit. Most international shipments don't fly direct, and it's the connections that often slow things down. If a plane lands at night, but sorting starts only in the morning, the shipment automatically goes into the next processing window. If transit goes through a country with strict screening, the check might take longer than usual. When a hub is overloaded, priority always goes to medical supplies, perishables, and live animals. Standard parcels simply wait their turn. That's why 2 identical shipments routed through different transit countries can travel completely differently. Another massive factor is customs. Delays here almost always come from paperwork. Wrong declared value, no description of the contents, missing invoice, missing recipient details, or an item that requires special permits. In these cases, customs won't guess. They'll simply stop the shipment. And here's the key. Customs doesn't speed anything up. It only checks. Speed comes from the logistics team that prepared the documents properly so the inspector has 0 questions. 90% of delays could be avoided with correct paperwork. Now let's talk about airlines. Many people think that if a flight exists, any cargo can be loaded on it. In reality, space in the cargo hold is limited, especially on smaller aircraft like the A320. If the load factor is high, a shipment might be pushed to the next flight. During sale seasons, it gets even tougher. Even cargo planes get filled to capacity, and special categories always get priority: live animals, medical equipment, perishables. Regular shipments move based on the principle, as soon as there's space. Sorting is no less complex. Think of it as a huge factory that works like a conveyor belt. Thousands of shipments go through scanners, belts, and routing systems. But if one section gets overloaded, the whole line slows down. If staff rotation is slower, equipment is under maintenance, or too many night flights arrive at once, a sorting center may delay a shipment by 6 to 12 hours without any visible reason from the customer's perspective. It's not a mistake. It's how the system behaves under peak load. And finally, the last mile, the stage that shapes the final impression. Couriers deal with traffic jams, tricky access points, no connection with the recipient, outdated addresses, and high delivery density in a single district. One unexpected factor can shift the entire schedule. That's why this last stretch can sometimes delay delivery more than an international flight. Many people ask, why does a logistics expert give a range instead of a precise date, like 3 to 5 days? The reason is simple. A professional considers dozens of variables: weather, hub load, potential transit delays, sorting capacity, and courier network workload. Delivery time never depends on one single element. A range isn't uncertainty. It's an honest, realistic estimate based on analyzing all possible factors. Here's the most important thing for any sender to understand. The better the documents, the simpler the route, and the more accurate the data, the smoother and faster the shipment travels. Weather and transit can't be controlled, but they can be accounted for. And smart logistics is exactly what turns all this into predictability. Delivery time isn't luck or randomness. It's the result of dozens of processes coming together in one route. Understanding these processes helps both senders and receivers, and businesses too. If you want to avoid delays, unpredictable timelines, and last-mile frustration, click the link in the comments. You can calculate delivery, check routes, and ask the time-saving machine team anything. We'll look into your situation, recommend the best option, and guide your shipment through the entire route with minimum risk. Go ahead, and let every shipment arrive right on time.